Hi guys, welcome to LegalEdge. I am Shanawaz, and in today's interview session, we have All India rank 37 with us from NLSAT 2025. That is Rishabh Raj Maiti, and he's with us for a quick discussion. In this interview, we will be covering his journey, his background, and what it took Rishabh to reach to this rank, to this fantastic college. So let's get started. Welcome, Rishabh.
Right,
Something,
so
something about you. Something about you, if you can tell us.
yes, sir. So I did my economics honors from Shriram College of Commerce in the University of Delhi. And after my economics, I was originally going for masters in economics, but then I decided to shift streams and I took a drop year and prepared for NLSAT. This year, thankfully, I've cleared it. And other than that, I've had various interests in parliamentary debating and law and jurisprudence since a while earlier.
That's great. That means from Shriram College to NLSIU Bangalore to one of the best colleges of the country. That's a huge achievement, I would say. So, can you tell us what made you consider that you should go for 3 year LLB?
Right,
What was
sir.
that inspiration?
So I believe in 12th, when most students go for their first graduate degree, unless you're going for a professional course, a lot of us do not have a sense of direction or an exact sense of purpose as to what course do we exactly want to pursue. I pursued economics because firstly, I was good at it. My 12th marks were pretty good. And secondly, I read a few books like Free Economics and other books that inspired me to pursue economics because I thought I could enact policy change and I thought I could become an economist, understand more about the world. Throughout the course and throughout my degree, however, I realized that the careers that I was looking from for and through my degree was slightly different than what I had envisioned my original plan to be. In my second year, I went to the London School of Economics in London, and there I studied behavioral economics, and I realized that like the behavioral studies and policy that I want to enact are very different from the quantitative and finance side that SRCC and other DU colleges aspire to actually place students in. Then in my third year, I actually studied a course called political economy, which was a wonderful course. It was sort of an introduction to the study of law, to the study of jurisprudence, to the study of how people evolve and normative and positive law evolves throughout the centuries, especially the English common law. And I thought I was very fascinated by the course. Also,
Great.
throughout my college life, so I had been actually doing parliamentary debating, and most of the people I met in debate competitions were actually in law schools across the country. So I was very
Okay.
fascinated by the course. Yeah.
So that means your graduation was the moment where you got to know about law as a career, and then you started thinking to go for 3 years LLB, right? So,
Yes, sir, in the middle of my.
okay. So what from here? Like, what's your main, I would say, the path you're looking for or direction? Okay, after doing your law degree, you'll be doing this thing or that thing. Like, are you looking for litigation? Are you looking for some corporate law or something else?
Right, sir. So I'm very interested in academia, especially, and I know that national law schools, especially NLS, has a tendency to favor corporate culture. I mean, I think that's just what the students prefer. I certainly want to take leverage of that, try to get a good placement in one of the top firms, and find one field of law that I enjoy. But eventually, I really want to earn enough to be able to support myself for my uh, graduate studies further in the field of law because academia is something that I've enjoyed throughout my life. There's particular courses called the BCL at Oxford and LLM in law at Stanford. The courses that I've looked into that sound the course curriculum looks very appealing. So after placements and through placements, I eventually plan on pursuing academia.
That's great. That's great. So, when you were in your graduation, you were doing, you said you were selected and you did your graduation from Shriram College of Commerce. So, then changing the field into law, were there any roadblocks coming from the family or friends, okay, like why you are shifting the field or why you're going for this?
Yes, sir. Quite particularly, there was both social and learning obstacles. I think social obstacles because again, when I got into SRCC, it's a top economics institute. So there were a lot of my friends who really wanted to be there. My family was very excited. They thought I was going to be an economist, kind of managerial post, or the common economics placements that are there. When I told my family that I'm actually planning to do law and law being a 3 year course
Hmm.
Again, it's not just a small master's, it's a actual 3-year undergraduate course.
Another
So
3 years of
yeah,
education, and that too in a new field we are not aware of, okay, where you'll be heading for. So yeah, that will be
with no,
difficult for family.
yes, so especially 3 years of education, and given that people my age usually, they after their first graduate degree, a lot of them try to get placements, do well, and like all my friends were doing jobs. Most of my friends were either doing masters or doing a job, and my parents were also like looking around and expecting me to be somewhere else at this point. So it was a tough decision to make, especially because I had in my third year, I had because my roadmap was that I was going to do a master's in economics.
Hmm.
And for foreign admissions, you have to apply in your second year to
Yeah.
get through in your third year. So in my second year, I had already applied to a lot of
So
institutes.
you were
I'd
preparing for
got
that part also, and you prepared for this also.
so yes, sir. So in my second year, I gave the GRE, which is the general exam required
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
foreign admissions abroad. I got a
Hmm.
323 out of 340, and I got offers from the University of Cambridge for their MPhil economics. So
Oh,
when I told my
welcome.
mom that I do not want to go to Cambridge and I want to prepare for law for 3 years more, so it was a big shock. Yes, sir. So there were a lot of obstacles, it's socially speaking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can completely understand. And I would congratulate the family also for supporting you during these tough times and taking these tough decisions. Uh, so another thing which I want to know from you is, was there, like you were already decided that I will only be going for NLSIU, NLSAT, or there were multiple other options also? You wrote other examinations also, and by chance you got here and now you're moving forward it. So what was the plan?
So in 2024, I gave NLSAT. During the end, my college, the sixth semester of my college degree was also coming to an end. So I didn't have a lot of preparation time. I gave NLSAT because that's what I really wanted to go eventually. I knew I could crack it, but I also knew that my time was very restricted, and I wasn't very
Hmm.
like dedicated across my prep. So in 2024, I only gave one examination, that was NLSAT.
Okay.
But after my college degree finished and I didn't clear 24 in LSAT, then I decided to take a drop year. When I finally made that call, I realized that I can't just expect to clear one examination, because to a certain extent, like there is also a certain element of chance. You cannot go all in on one examination without any backup. So throughout my drop year, then I also gave other examinations. I gave the Symbiosis law entrance test and I cleared it. And I also gave the Jindal law entrance test and I cleared it.
Okay, so you had three options. So why NLSIU? Matlab, beyond the law part of this college, what does this college represent to you?
So the college in and of itself firstly represents, I think, the pinnacle of academic success. There are very few colleges in India that are recognized throughout the world. Like in any college, in any postgraduate law admissions page, there is a list of prestigious universities in
Okay.
which they specifically mention these college names. So of course, I think
Hmm.
it represents academic success. The faculty is amazing, and in most top NLUs, the faculty is amazing, the infrastructure is amazing, the learning environment is really there. What I was really concerned with was firstly the peer group, and I'm very sure that because the peer group is going to be amazing, it's all of these people have worked very hard to be here, so I can be in a learning and supportive environment. And secondly, throughout my debating as well, NLS and National Law School Parliamentary Debate also represented the pinnacle of Indian debating and British parliamentary debating. So I know that their moods, the level of their alternate dispute resolution teams are also very good. So in
Hmm.
extracurriculars, academics, and overall, I think I've had a wonderful experience with NLS alumni, and I think it's the best place to be.
Absolutely, it is. So let's jump onto your journey of NLSAT preparation. You said that you appeared in 2024 and then you reappeared in 2025. So what was your strategy for part A and part B? Because this is one of the unique examinations where you have to face the objective part also and the subjective part also. So how you managed it?
Right. So for me personally, I think everybody's level of preparation is a bit different based on their own level of aptitude for the exam. For me personally, part A was my weakness, especially current affairs was my weakness. I knew that my critical reasoning, reading comprehension were good enough because I'd already also prepared for other foreign entrance examinations that had these subjects. So I had a thorough understanding and preparation in them. And I also knew, being a debater, that I could eventually, with practice, be able to do a good enough part B. But current affairs was something that I had never previously prepared for in an examination. I think, in especially personally speaking, in part A, I think in 2024, that was the reason I also didn't clear part A through. I had a score of 48.75 out of 75 in part A, and I
Okay.
wasn't able to make the
And that time also
part B
GK
cutoff.
was the toughest part you faced.
Yes, sir. Especially
Okay.
that time because 2024 paper was a lot harder, and I think out of all the last 4 or 5 years of the NLSAT has been conducted, 2024 was the most difficult paper after
Hmm.
analyzing the PYQs.
Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
was
Hmm.
especially taken aback by the current affairs. Yeah,
Okay. So, what was the strategy change in 2025? Like how you
right,
managed
sir.
GK this year?
So what I realized was because then again the not only is the paper pattern eccentric with the subjective marking, but also the kind of current affairs they ask is slightly different from other government examinations and
Hmm.
law school examinations like CLAT. So it's less of, let's say, static GK, less of generalized knowledge, and much more of current happenings across the country and across the world, and they can be of varying degrees of relevance and varying in different niches. So there have been questions on in past year papers, there have been questions on the arrest of Andrew Tate, the gross which movie grossed the highest of Shah Rukh Khan in 2023, and so on.
Very,
So
very random questions coming from random topics. But you cannot even guess, okay, or
yeah.
at the time of preparation, you cannot think of, okay, they can ask such questions, right? You are saying this.
Right, sir. So I realized that just basically going through the general GK compendiums was not enough. I had to be consistently aware of what was happening in the country. My personal strategy was firstly, I read the newspaper. Most of the general subjects were covered in the newspaper, and I think it gave you a better understanding of what was going in the country. But then to memorize, I used different GK sources, including the CLAT post. I just every monthly compendiums, I constantly memorized them. What was also very important for me, I think, and this exam it also paid off, was I made a separate social media account, and on that account, I followed all the news handles of all Indian newspapers and like the NY Times and the Wall Street Post
Hmm,
and
hmm,
other
hmm,
major international newspapers. And they ping and they make 10 posts a day. So your social media is always buzzing with whatever's
hmm,
happening
hmm,
around
hmm,
the
hmm.
world. So even in this year's paper, so the Ranveer Alawadia case and the Kunal Kamra, like the contempt of court case, and other questions were particularly relevant, and they were popping up in social media a lot. So
Hmm.
I think just generally being aware and using different sources is the key for this exam.
Precisely, I want to talk about part B also because this is a section where students find it very difficult when we talk to the students. There's not much resources available on the websites or cyberspace. So, any particular tips or strategy for cracking part B? What helped you?
Right. So I think uh, a few and key things to remember first in part B is that A, word count matters. NLS expects you to write a certain length of answers. The space they provide for in the answer sheets is also 1.5 full pages.
Hmm.
And so they expect you to at least, in fact, now that they've shortened the paper this year, shortened the number of questions, they expect you to write all the more. So writing speed really matters.
Hmm.
A lot of people in mocks they write very good answers, but they're not able to write long answers or finish the paper. And finishing the paper is actually the most important thing. So writing speed really matters. Word count and length matters. Then I think across speed, then I think what is easy is to firstly have a defined structure. So I personally followed IRAC, which is a common law paradigm throughout all law schools and debating. It's issue, reasoning, analysis, and conclusion, or argument and conclusion. So IRAC really helps just identifying the issue in one or two key lines, present the evidence, present the facts, use your general reasoning that this is what is agreed upon in the world or throughout normal law legal principles, and then present your facts, come to your analysis. Because of these reasonings, this and this is valid, and then your conclusion. What is also very important is, I think, if you're reading the newspaper and different legal news throughout the year and watching YouTube compendiums of monthly legal news, it will come to you naturally. But what is
But you will be
important
familiar with the
is
topics they
to
might ask in
just
part B. I guess your voice breaked in between. I was saying,
yes,
uh,
sir. So the topics are hypothetical case studies. Oh, sorry.
okay, okay. And these were the sources from where you were able to
Sorry,
study the
so
topics. You got the list of the topics. You were able to preempt. Okay, okay, they might ask to write on these kind of topics, right?
yes, what I had was a list of general legal maxims, that is, negligence, proportionality, vicarious responsibility, employee contractual employee relationship, information, and like, does the defendant have the chance to defend themselves, reasonable cause. So all of these basic list of legal maxims, you can apply them to generally any hypothetical scenario that NLS presents to you.
That's great. That's great. Moving forward, just a minute. Yeah. So for any winner, be a athlete or a topper, I'm sure there are moments where you face a self-doubt, you feel low at times, or you feel boring doing the same job. So how did you bounce back from those situations?
Um, Personally, sir, I don't believe in the notion of just sitting down throughout your drop year and just giving 10 hours a day. I
Hmm.
believe it's very important to live a balanced life. I took 2 or 3 trips across my year of preparation, like in control. Of course, I was still reading the newspaper and still just in touch with the current affairs throughout the year. But I actively like played a sport. I play table tennis. Other than that, I had conversations with my friends. I took different resources from all my seniors who had all given similar exams. A few of my seniors from DU, who I personally know, have cleared NLSAT as well. So
Hmm.
I talked to them. I think just constant support from your friends and your alumni network base and being in touch is very essential. Otherwise, you can be super isolated, and it can feel depressing.
But still, at the time, there might be situations where you might be feeling low. So we just want to know what was that moment or the strategy or a technique through which Rishabh Raj bounced back. Okay, this is something which is distracting me. I should come back and focus. Anything.
Right. So I think changing your environment really helps. For me, I used to be super disappointed if one of my mock scores was low, or
Hmm.
in my batch rank across my coaching institute was a bit low. What I realized was that there is a huge range of variance within your own performance, within different mocks, within different levels of preparation. Your friends can score higher, they can score lower, and you might not. You might feel super, left out from the rest of your world. But what can really help is if you go to a relative's place, if you go have a change of pace, if you change your environment, you gather new experiences. Because I think people get the most depressed when they're closeted up in the same space and are reliving the same experiences over and over again. I think a change of pace, like
Change
I
of
personally,
environment or the change of place was the main thing that worked for you. This-
yes, sir. Before my exam, I went to my grandmother's place at Dehradun, and
Okay,
I think that was also a very good refresher for my mental health.
that's great. That's great. Any particular resource or mentorship or anything which you remember that this particular thing has made a difference in my whole preparation journey, which you can list here.
I think so. Like, given that during my last 2 years of preparation, firstly, there weren't a lot of resources available, and NLSAT is a relatively newer
New
exam.
exam.
So mocks are super important, extremely like the most important thing. First of all, I personally took NLTI's mocks because those were the ones that were available in the last 2 years. I think the mocks, and especially the Part B analysis, is very important because Part A you can analyze by yourself based on your answer key. But Part B, you really need an experienced mentor to help you identify your weaknesses and where you're going wrong with your answers, what you can do, how you can structure. So Part B mocks, and then for monthly, like for overall monthly compendiums, like just go through your monthly compendiums, go through your YouTube videos. Those basically summarize like 1 month of GK within 2 or 3 hours. And then, of course, be active either with the newspaper or with social media. That's so that you know what's happening all across the different spectrums. So more social media and then YouTube videos, I think, basically.
Okay, okay, okay. Uh, any particular message for the aspirants who are preparing for NLSAT 2026 or they're looking for NLSAT 2027? Some two, three things which you can list down. Okay, okay, these are the things which have helped me, and I would like to share it with the future aspirants.
Right. The first thing is do not neglect Part B. For me, part B was my strength, but for most aspirants, I think part A they're able to cover relatively easy. Do not leave part B until the end. Do not leave your preparation for part B until the last few months, just because current affairs every month you have to do. We
Hmm.
keep practicing writing a few essays every week so that you have a consistent practice with your timing, with your speed, with your answers, and your legal framework, what you're going to apply, what principles you're going to use. Secondly, I think it's okay to be underconfident. I was extremely underconfident right until the day of the even after the exam, right until the day of the result. I was super nervous about whether I was going to make it because like there are different seats for different individuals, and like some people might be extremely demotivated given how small the batch size is. But like all you need to do is be consistent and you're going to make it. Thirdly, I think GK and current affairs, just be consistent. You cannot rush and memorize everything in the last month. It's extremely unpractical to do. And the kind of questions NLSAT asks requires a more consistent understanding. I think these are the general tips. And otherwise, of course, you can reach out to your seniors. If you know someone who's cracked the paper, please reach out to them. Please send them your answers. You can also reach out to me on LinkedIn if you want to. Just like make sure to get guidance from others and from third party members or your coaching institute on your writing and on your subjective papers.
That's great. That's great. We see that many of the aspirants are still very confused. Like if they were looking for 5 year LLB, and for by any chance they were not able to go into a good law school, they usually change the whole path altogether. Now you been here with us and you have done your three, you have chosen this path. So any particular message to those guys who are changing their dream and changing the stream? Okay, is 3 year LLB worth taking the shot?
Right. I think a few pointers to this. First of all, if you check the course curriculum across most major LLB courses, NLUO, NLSDU, LLB, and Jindal and Symbiosis, and especially GLC as well, all the core modules and the core law modules that are covered in 5 year law degrees are actually also covered in the 3 year program. So I don't think in terms of legal education, you're missing out on anything. Uh, the BA subjects that are there, like political science and economics, that the 5 year students do, are anyway covered by these students who are now in college and graduate courses. Secondly, I think placement statistics are out for the first batch of NLS graduating this year, and they're very well. The average is around 18 lakhs a year. So I think placement wise, also, the 3 year batch is doing well. Historical courses like the GLC and DULLB, Symbiosis are anyway have good placements and
Hmm.
especially very strong litigation networks as such. So if you're not able to get into the 5 year course, do not be demotivated at all. The 3 year courses are perfectly adequate as well as at par alternative to pursuing law as compared to the 5 year courses.
Okay, okay. And one more followed up question for the 3 year LLB aspirants. We see that when we talk to the students, they come to us and they are not very clear about why I should go for specifically NLSIU or NLSAT. I'm fine in writing my local state level examination. So anything for this kind of audience?
Right. So I think what I've realized in my time at SRCC and also now probably talking to NLS people is that your peer group matters a lot. Even if you individually think you're capable of studying the law program at any in university you want to and clearing an examination, the kind of academic rigor, the kind of experiences, and the academic, like not only the academic, but the social learning you can get from
Hmm.
being with ultra competitive people, from being with people who really want to achieve high things in life is very important because they influence you and they really help you reach higher grounds in life. So even if your end goal is just to give the judiciary and you don't think like your college really matters a lot, you cannot lose anything by being surrounded by highly successful and competitive people who will push you towards higher grounds in academic and social learning as well.
That's great. That's great. Uh, So you are here with LegalEdge right now, and so Rishabh Raj for the audience, he actually bought our test series for NLSAT, and he's our test series student. So if you can throw some light, ke, how LegalEdge, what kind of help you actually got from LegalEdge team?
Right, sir. I think the firstly, the most important thing was the Legal Edge test series was released about around a 1 month and a half before the exam. So I was super anxious because that was a very nervous time. like just a month left, I was revising current affairs, and everybody was very pumped up regarding the exam. I personally had a personal mentor assigned to me, Mr. Ashutosh, who was constantly like every other day he called me, he checked up on me, gave me tips regarding preparation. So I think in that sense, really helped a lot
Mhm.
with my overall mental health during the last few months of my preparation. The test series part A was very good. I think the level of GK was especially great. Legal Edge's strength historically always has been current affairs, and legal reasoning. So I think part A was very good. Part B, I believe, like even though the difficulty of questions was very good, but the topics were a bit off topic in regards to the previous year questions that have historically been there. But I'm sure now that Legal Edge is launching a full dedicated NLSAT course, the paper like part B questions will resemble more of the previous year questions papers. The difficulty, however, was pretty good. I attempted two of the mocks, and the questions really asked you to introspect in terms of like you're being placed in the position, or you have to make one of the questions was about you have to define or draft some legislative laws. I remember. So I think the questions were quite insightful and also very thought provoking. But part B, yes, could be a bit more
Challenging.
resembling taking to the previous year questions. Yeah.
Okay, okay. And for the audience, we when we started 3 year LB very recently. So at the time the Rishabh Raj was preparing, that was the technically the first product of Legal Edge, first course we launched, the 3 year LB test series we started with. Unfortunately, we had Rishabh Raj on board, and now we see him graduating successfully, getting the rank of 37. So that's also a very good thing for us. And for sure, Rishabh Raj is with us and he will be helping us to evolve more in our mocks and the content. So that's the thing for you guys. Now, the closing part with which I want to close the whole discussion is if someone watches this interview, what is that one message for that kid who is very confused, not able to decide the right path? Should I go for 3 LB? Or if I'm going for 3 LB, should I go for NLSAT specifically or not? So, what will be that last final message from Rishabh Raj to that kid?
To every confused individual, college graduate out there, what is especially interesting and unique to the field of law is that it's very, very diverse, and there are lots of opportunities in so many domains that you want to pursue. So you can literally be from a quantitative background with a maths degree and go into capital markets. You could be from a policy background or a political science background, go into criminal law or international human rights. There are literally any field of law you can pursue, and there are thousands of fields of law and thousands of different jobs and domains you can go for. So if you're very confused and you have no direction in life, I think doing the LLB is a very safe bet, because if you're doing it from a great institute, if you're doing a good course, and if you actually work hard, no matter what your particular unique interest or what domain your interest is, you can find a legal job within that domain. It's a very forgiving industry to be in, and it's a very rewarding industry to be in.
With this message, thank you so much, Rishabh Raj, and to all the viewers who are watching this interview right now. We would like to say that the game is still not over. If you were looking for that 5 year law journey and you are not able to go through that, we still have very fantastic examinations happening in the country. One of the very prominent examination is NLSAT, which started in 2022, and we now have the placement data. Plus NLUO coming into the picture, then we have DSNLU also, and we are getting news that other LLUs are also jumping in for the 3 year LLB programs. So, to all the aspirants who are still confused, not enough motivated, and they compare 3 year LLB with 5 year LLB, and then they say that okay, the 3 year LLB is something which is not up to the mark. For them, I would say this interview is very important. If you have seen the complete show, complete interview, I'm sure you people would have received the whole information. You now are very clear. Here LB is giving you the right placements, have enough opportunities, diverse options available, and you all can go for NLSAT on all the examinations related to 3 year LB. So thank you so much, Rishabh, joining us for this session. All the best for your college studies. The blessings are from Legal Edge team. We are there to help you out, and I'm sure many students will be reaching you for internships, for help from Legal Edge also. So I'm sure Rishabh Raj will be there to help your juniors also, right?
Thank you so much, sir. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be here. And of course, I'm open for communication to everyone and every candidate who aspires for the examination. I'd love to help.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you for watching. Bye bye. Take care.